The question came from Alan, who wonders how long it will take before the last artificial light goes out if all humans suddenly disappear from the face of the Earth. Let's start with the obvious. Most light sources won't last long, as the main power grids will quickly fail. Without people, the demand for electricity will decrease, but refrigerators, air conditioners, and lava lamps will continue to operate, as fossil fuel power plants require a constant supply of fuel, dependent on human labor. As soon as the oil rigs begin to shut down in the first hours, other energy sources will face additional strain. This situation will be difficult to manage even with human control, leading to a rapid cascade of failures and the shutdown of all major power grids. Nuclear reactors, of course, do not require a constant supply of fuel. One operator I spoke with said that if their reactor switches to low power mode, it can operate almost indefinitely. A cubic meter of uranium contains about 6 million times more stored energy than an equivalent cubic meter of coal. Unfortunately, although there is enough fuel, most nuclear reactors will not operate for long. Once a failure occurs, the reactor will automatically shut down. Each part of the reactor control system is designed to shut down quickly in case of failure. This will happen quickly, and many factors can cause a shutdown, but the most likely culprit will be a power grid failure. Nevertheless, a significant part of the light comes from sources not connected to the main power grids. Let's consider a few of them, and when they might shut down. Many remote communities, such as those on distant islands, receive electricity from diesel generators. They can operate until the fuel runs out, which in most cases can take from several days to several months. Generator stations that do not require human intervention for fuel supply will be in the best condition. Geothermal stations can operate for quite a long time without human intervention. According to the maintenance schedule of the geothermal station on Fangi Island, the operator must change the oil in the reducers and lubricate all electric motors and connections every 6 months. Without people performing these procedures, some installations may work for several years, but ultimately they will succumb to corrosion. Wind-powered light sources will last a bit longer. Wind turbines are designed to require little maintenance, as there are many, and they are difficult to service. The Geyser wind turbine in Denmark was installed in the late 50s and generated electricity for 11 years without maintenance. Modern turbines are usually designed to operate for 3 years without maintenance, and there are certainly some that will last for decades. One of them will likely have at least an indicator, LED. However, in the end, most wind turbines will stop for the same reason as geothermal stations. Their gearboxes will jam. The generators that convert falling water into electricity will continue to operate. The operator at the Hoover Dam once said that if everyone leaves, the station will operate in automatic mode for several more years, although if the power grid is turned off, all this electricity will have nowhere to go. Eventually, the dam will likely succumb to blocked entrances or the same mechanical failures that will strike wind turbines and geothermal stations. Battery-powered lighting won't last much longer and will shut down within a few decades. Even without a load, batteries eventually discharge. Some types hold a charge longer than others, but even long-lasting batteries typically retain a charge for only decades. Solar energy is likely the most promising candidate. There are many autonomous buildings around the world with solar panels, weather stations, and other remote infrastructure. Emergency phones, often found along roads in remote areas, typically run on solar power. They usually have lights that provide illumination every night. Like wind turbines, they are difficult to maintain and are built to last long. Solar panels can typically operate as long as the electronics connected to them, and as long as the panels are kept clean from dust and debris. The wires and circuits eventually succumb to corrosion. But solar panels in a dry place with well-constructed electronics can easily continue to provide electricity for an entire century if kept clean by periodic gusts of wind or rain. According to a strict definition of light sources, solar lanterns in remote places may be the last remaining human-made sources of light. But there is another contender, and it is quite unusual: spent nuclear fuel. Contrary to popular belief, radioactivity is usually invisible, which is why we need warning signs around areas with radioactive materials or waste. Yes, the clock dials used to be coated with small amounts of radium to glow in the dark. But the glow did not come from radioactivity, but from the phosphorescent paint that glows when exposed to light. After the phosphorescent paint was destroyed, the clock remains radioactive but no longer glows. However, the analog clock is not the only source of radioactive light. When radioactive particles move through materials like water or glass, they emit light, creating a kind of optical sonic boom. This light is called Cherenkov radiation and is observed in the characteristic blue glow of nuclear reactors. Some of our radioactive waste, such as cesium-137, melts and mixes with glass, which cools into a solid block and is then wrapped in additional protection for transportation and storage. In the dark, these glass blocks glow blue. Cesium-137 has a half-life of 30 years, meaning that in 2 centuries, the blocks will still glow with 1% of their original radioactivity. Since the color of light depends only on the energy of particle decay and not on the amount of radiation, it will fade over time but retain the same blue hue. Thus, we arrive at the answer. In a few centuries, deep within concrete storage facilities, the light from our most toxic waste will still shine.